Newswatch, Governor Mike DeWine receives a subpoena in the civil case over the billion-dollar nuclear bailout bill. Plus, a state-of-the-art medical center for veterans is one step closer to being complete. And in sports, big changes coming to MAC football next season. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Silver Barker. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. We have a lot of news for you, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at weather with Mia.
Taking a look at Athens currently, we see the temperature at 49 degrees with clear skies. That high pressure system has really been dominating over our area, giving us those clear sunny skies. We do have a little bit of a wind from the south, but nothing too crazy. In the surrounding area, we see Lancaster at 54, Parkersburg at 53. So very similar temperatures to what we are experiencing in Athens, and very warm temperatures for this time of the season. In Athens today, we saw a temperature high of 54 with a temperature low at 35 with mostly sunny skies, but that will begin to move out into Athens tonight. We see the overnight low at 35 with a 40% chance of showers that will be hitting us tomorrow morning at around 5 a.m. And then into tomorrow, we see 80% chance of showers with a temperature high of 49 and a temperature low of 43. So it will get a little bit colder as time goes on. And then looking into the weekend, we do see more rain that will be coming in because of that low pressure system and a little bit of a temperature drop off. But I'll be talking more on that in my full weather now. Back to Silver.
Thanks, Mia. There's new action in a civil case involving the billion-dollar nuclear power plant bailout known as House Bill 6. Governor Mike DeWine has received a subpoena for documents, and Lieutenant Governor John Husted is set for deposition sometime in March. Neither Husted nor DeWine are named as defendants in the civil suit investors brought against First Energy. First Energy admits to bribing Republican former House Speaker Larry Householder to get the bill passed. This summer, Householder was convicted of racketeering and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Former Republican Party Chair Matt Borges is serving 5 years in prison for his role in the bailout. Borges is guilty of bribing a First Energy worker to get inside information and communicate with Republican office holders. Their participation in the scheme is known as the largest corruption scandal in state history. Republican Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose is consulting anti-abortion groups for issue 2 draft contesting ballot language for issue 1. Issue 1 was passed earlier this month, seeking to establish abortion access in Ohio's Constitution. Backers for issue 1 are calling out the language used by LaRose's for the ballot summary. LaRose's wording is substituting fetus for unborn child. Anti-abortion groups are pushing for a change to pregnant person to woman. LaRose's spokesperson says the secretary will always represent the conservative values on which he was elected. Ohio's expanded school voucher program, Ed Choice, cost the state $15 million more than it estimated. The state originally estimated the program would cost less than $400 million. This year, over 65,000 families applied to the new program, costing $412 million. Lieutenant Governor John Husted says he thinks that what Ohio spends on public schools will remain sustainable. The state estimates next year the program will cost nearly $450 million. That brings the total cost of private education funded by taxpayers dollars to over $1 billion. A former Zanesville police chief is filing to be a candidate in the upcoming Muskingum County Commissioner race. Tony Curry is now in the race as a Republican to fill the seat left vacant by Commissioner Millie Crooks. The primary election is going to be on March 19th. Curry is running against 2 other Republicans, Drake Prouty and Jean Tahi. Coming up, a new medical center serving those who served our country is one step closer to completion. And today marks the last day of hurricane season this year.
We have been experiencing sunny and clear skies, but moving into the first week of December, we will experience some rain. How that will affect you next on Newswatch.
In 1976, Neil Diamond took Sydney by storm.
Yes, she does, my mama. Caroline, oh, beautiful. Right. Come on, baby, right.
Relive the experience with Neil Diamond. Thank you, Australia.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
Something's in the air, I hold my breath.
What you're doing is incredible. I'm so proud of you.
With 1 foot off the edge, I take a step. The moment's come, now is the chance.
I believe this is going to be your journey.
We are co-authors with the world around us.
Looking for me?
Within here and without us, there is no United States.
It's all about storytelling. That's beautiful.
It's starting now.
Coming soon, it's the latest from TJ Levinsky's My Music Gang, here on your public TV station.
A portrait of my love.
It's Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet with their music and memories told by their son, David.
Could be the start of something.
Saturday at 8 on WOUB.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear joins veterans and federal officials. In Louisville, the last steel beam is placed to top off a new medical center for veterans, but that is still years from completion. When it's completed, the VA Medical Center will have 104 beds, providing full health care for over 45,000 veterans in the area. The facility also includes a women's health clinic. At today's ceremony, Governor Beshear, the project has brought in countless jobs and will stimulate the local economy.
Keeps a focus on 2 of my highest priorities as governor, serving our veterans and providing high quality health care. I believe health care is a basic human right, no matter who you are or where you live. This takes on additional urgency when we're talking about those who wear the uniform.
There's still more work to be done installing technology, putting up walls, and moving staff and resources. Presidential frontrunners are tackling a key issue regarding the Affordable Care Act. Former President Donald Trump vows to demolish the program while President Joe Biden is warning voters the effort to repeal law is a threat to families across America. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook has details on how both candidates are tackling the issue.
Former President Trump says that replacing the Affordable Care Act, which is commonly referred to as Obamacare, is a top priority for him.
Trump posted on social media saying Republicans should never give up on trying to repeal Obamacare, adding that the failure to repeal it was a low point for the Republican Party. It was punched home by late Republican Senator John McCain with his now famous thumbs down. And while promising to deliver his own, quote, phenomenal plan, Trump never proposed one. Now, some of his own team members were surprised by his recent declaration, since they have not yet drafted a health policy alternative. One Trump advisor told CNN the declaration completely came out of nowhere.
My predecessor wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
President Joe Biden sees this as a new campaign opportunity, releasing this ad on Thursday and speaking about Trump's comments on the trail.
Over 40 million Americans today get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. His plan is to throw them off that plan.
A poll by the Kaiser Family Foundation in May found that 59% of Americans said they had a favorable view of Obamacare.
Because of the popularity of Obamacare, it's a tricky topic for the rest of the Republican presidential hopefuls to take on. But it's likely they'll have a chance to weigh in on Trump's comments and Biden's reaction at the fourth GOP presidential debate that takes place next Wednesday. Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
The former president is once again under a gag order. A New York appellate court says it's reinstated it for Trump's civil fraud trial. It bans all parties in the case from making public comments about court staff. The judge overseeing the trial originally imposed the order. He warns he plans to enforce it vigorously. An attorney for Trump says the appellate ruling marks a tragic day for the law. The higher court had temporarily blocked the gag order during its review earlier this month. House Republicans are pushing to formalize an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. According to multiple senior GOP sources, Republican leaders are considering holding an official House vote next month. Up until this point, House Republicans have not had the votes to legitimize their inquiry. They now want to strengthen their subpoenas and compel testimony after the White House told Congress the inquiry lacks constitutional legitimacy without a formal vote. It also comes after Hunter Biden said he is willing to testify publicly instead of a private deposition. Tomorrow, GOP lawmakers are holding a key conference meeting to try to convince holdouts in their party to get on board. Instagram's parent company Meta is suing the Federal Trade Commission in an attempt to block the new restrictions placed on kids' data. Meta argues the limitations are an unconstitutional abuse of government power. The filing comes Thursday after a previous ruling allowed regulators to reopen Meta's landmark $5 billion privacy settlement from 2020. The FTC claims Meta has violated terms of that settlement and, in response, placed restrictions on the technology company May of this year that banned Meta from monetizing the user data of children. Regulators also called for new limitations on Meta's use of facial recognition. On Monday, a federal judge ruled that the FTC proceeding could continue, but Meta quickly followed with an appeal expanding its pushback with the lawsuit. If approved, the restrictions could significantly limit Meta's data-driven business, especially among younger users. Several Israeli hostages have been released over the past 24 hours due to the temporary truce agreement between Israel and Hamas. But that agreement making it possible between the two countries is also growing more challenging. Laura Geary has the latest.
This process is producing results. It's important, and we hope that it can continue.
Hope in the form of a truce still holding on day 7, but tenuous and heading toward another deadline in just hours. Secretary of State Tony Blinken in Israel Thursday, meeting with both Israeli leaders and the Palestinian Authority president. The U.S. has been key to truce negotiations, along with Egypt and Qatar, helping to secure the release of hostages out of Gaza and getting convoys of humanitarian aid in. But the releases have become more sparse, with one Israeli official suggesting it's not just because hostages are being held in different locations.
We've seen for multiple days now Hamas playing psychological games with the people of Israel, with the families of the hostages, releasing children without their parents, parents without their children, changing lists at the last minute. If that agreement isn't upheld, we will move to the next stage.
The U.S. is said to be putting pressure on Israel to be more precise in future strikes and better protect civilians, multiple sources confirmed to CNN. The IDF keeping any operational plans close to the vest.
We're not determined that we are going to go here or there. We have approved our operational plans for the next stages.
Meaning that in this stage, while the truce lasts, freeing hostages remains Israel's focus.
They have to come home. We have to bring them home. That is what we're doing.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
The 6-month hurricane season officially ends today. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts future tropical developments in spring. The tropical storm Ophelia and Hurricane Idalia are the only two that made landfall in the U.S. this season. The season saw 20 storms, including 3 major hurricanes.
Taking a look at the temperatures around the United States, we see in the west some colder temperatures. Salt Lake City 34, Las Vegas 60, a little warmer there. And then looking at the east, we see similar temperatures to Athens, Chicago 49, Detroit 50. And then zooming in on just the Athens area, we see Athens at 49, Wilmington at 54, Lancaster at 51. So very similar temperatures to Athens and pretty warm temperatures for this time of the year. In Athens currently, again, 49 with clear skies. We have that high pressure system really dominating our area, but that will begin to move out into tonight and into tomorrow as well. We do see a little bit of winds from the south, but nothing too much. And then if we're taking a look at the rain, we see this rain moving up into the Detroit, Chicago area. It hasn't hit us yet, but within the 24 hours, it is working its way up towards us. We can see this low pressure system moving its way in from the west. Again, hasn't hit us yet, but will be affecting us into tonight. We see that temperature low 35 with a 40% chance of showers. Those showers are really going to begin to affect us at 6 a.m. this morning. So if you're heading out, make sure you bring that rain jacket or that umbrella. And then we see tonight's sunset at 5:07. It will continue to get lower and lower as time goes on. And then moving into tomorrow, we see 80% chance of showers. So those lingering chance of showers throughout the whole day tomorrow. Temperature high at 49 with a temperature low at 43. We do see that decrease in temperatures from today. And we'll see that into the weekend as well. But we can see in our area these showers, and then moving into tomorrow night, that's whenever this is really going to be taking effect into our area and the surrounding area, and it will stay with us on Saturday. We see it not so much in our area, but still lingering and bringing us those showers into this weekend. And then taking a look at this weekend, we see that chance of showers continuing. Saturday, 40% chance of showers. Sunday, 60% chance of showers with a slight increase of warm temperatures. We see 60 degrees on Saturday, 58 degrees on Sunday, but it will begin to dip off into next week. On Sunday, we see 58 with a low of 35, Monday 47 with a low of 30, and then the temperature will begin to dip off. We see Wednesday 43 degrees with a low of 27, but that chance of showers is going to linger throughout next week, and we'll see that low pressure system really affecting us, those clouds staying in our area, that rain continuing. It's going to hit us mostly this weekend, but it will continue into next week. We see Wednesday 30% chance of showers, and then Thursday it is going to be mostly cloudy, and a high pressure system is going to be moving into our area. That's a look at weather. Now back to Silver.
Thank you, Mia. December 1st is World AIDS Day, and despite medical advancements, this continues to be a dangerous global disease. AIDS is the final stage of HIV that attacks the body's immune system, and it spreads through infected body fluids. In Ohio, more than 25,000 people were living with HIV last year, which is 1,300 more than what was documented in 2021. Public health experts urge all sexually active people to get tested along with their partners. Learn more about testing and treatments at cdc.gov/HIV. Well, December 1st is right around the corner, and while the holidays can be full of fun and time with family, they can also be extremely stressful. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has ways to manage stress throughout the holiday season.
It's that time of year again. The lights, the memories, the stress.
You might be excited about certain things that are happening and also stressed and overwhelmed. And both of those things can exist in you at the same time.
Licensed therapist Jody Baumstein says to first recognize what you feel because you can do something about it. Help manage holiday stress by giving yourself permission to do things differently.
We often believe that because something has been done a certain way for a long time, we can't break that tradition. But the reality is sometimes something isn't going to work for us, and it doesn't mean that we'll never do it again, but maybe we don't do it this year.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, Baumstein says to set boundaries. Think about what's most important for your family. She says it's okay to say no.
A lot of times we don't want to do that. We feel like we don't really have a good reason or we don't want to upset someone. But the reality is that no can be a full sentence and you don't need to justify it or explain it.
Finally, Baumstein says to allow yourself to be in the moment because holidays can pass by quickly. Ground yourself.
You are literally using your senses to bring you into the present moment or the here and now. And that allows you to enjoy that time. Because what we don't want to happen is we plan all this great stuff, but then we get to the end of the holiday season and realize we don't really remember it.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Next in sports, the Mid-American Conference is changing the football title game criteria for 2024. And for the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
AIDS is now spreading in coronavirus explodes in numbers. They had accused the president of high crime. I did not have sex. It's a witch hunt.
Did you think it was a radical policy?
I most certainly did think it was a radical policy.
We're encouraged at Frontline to go toward these types of stories. If it's important, if there's a public interest here, then Frontline is there to figure out compelling ways to tell them.
People were angry.
They're gonna start storming the gates?
I need you to understand what we are fighting for.
This is David versus Goliath.
I'm gonna fight this. Frontline specializes in some of the toughest subjects that one could take on as journalists.
Ukraine is now a nation at war. No relief in sight for Mariupol.
In an era of misinformation and disinformation, it's absolutely crucial to have Frontline there to coolly and calmly tell people the truth.
How do we know until there is an investigation?
Can this be done in a way that respects people's rights?
These traditions of asking tough questions, of making sure our facts are right, that's the core of our mission today, and it was 40 years ago.
Asking tough questions to those in power.
Should Democrats supply their votes if it means avoiding a government shutdown?
Do you see more of a benefit to your nation's relationship with Russia or with the U.S.?
All the homes are gone, all the buildings are gutted.
And covering events as they unfold.
What goes through your mind when you see fire that close to your home?
Oh my God, am I gonna die?
PBS NewsHour, weeknights on PBS and streaming.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Dylan Westmeyer. Huge changes are coming to football in the Mid-American Conference in 2024. The MAC plans to eliminate the East and West divisions, and the top 2 teams based on win percentage will play for the title. All 11 teams will play a home and away series every 3 years, and to preserve rivalries, teams have been placed into pods of 3 that will play each other every season. Ohio University is in a pod with Miami and Ball State. Ohio women's basketball played their 5th game of the season yesterday in the Convo. The Bobcats fell to Longwood University with a final score of 72-65. With this loss, Ohio falls to 2-3 overall. The Bobcats struggled to put the ball in the basket as they went 25 for 65 from the field, 5 for 24 from 3, and 17 for 28 from the charity stripe. If Ohio wants to win more games, they need to spend time focusing on their shot accuracy. The Bobcats will travel to Columbus to take on the Buckeyes on Tuesday, December 5th. TVC Ohio girls basketball is back and in their 2nd week of the season. To start, the Nelsonville York Buckeyes are taking on the Marietta Tigers. The Buckeyes are coming off a TVC Ohio title last season and hoping for a repeat. Nelsonville York comes into this matchup having lost their 1st game of the season to the Federal Hawking Lancers. Marietta, on the other hand, is 2-0 heading into the matchup. Taking a look into the team that finished in 2nd place in the TVC Ohio, it's the Athens Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were 15-9 last season and were led by sophomore Asa Holcomb and freshman Ella Chapman. These two combined for an average 23 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. Athens is 0-1 on the season, losing to the Warren Warriors. Minford is welcomed into the Plains with a 1-0 record. Moving over to MacArthur, the Vinton County Vikings are traveling to Southeastern High School to take on the Panthers in their third game of the season. The Vikings finished last year with a 4-18 record and look to improve this season. Vinton County begins their season with a 1-1 record with a win over Dawson Bryant and a loss to Portsmouth West. Southeastern hold the same record, a victory over Glenwood and a loss to Adena. Making our way out to the TVC Hawking, the Federal Hawking Lancers travel to Belpre to take on the Golden Eagles tonight. The Lancers finished last season with a 15-13 record, and the young roster hopes to improve with the addition of Trimble transfer junior Jaylee Osborne. Federal Hawking is 2-0 to start their season with wins over Miller and Nelsonville York. Belpre comes into the matchup at 1-0 with a win over the Meigs Marauders. In Gloucester, the Trimble Tomcats host the Southern Tornadoes. The Tomcats finished last season with a 5-15 record. Trimble, however, has started the season off the right way with a 46-16 victory over Burton Union. Southern, on the other hand, finished last season with a 6-18 record and started this season with a 22-53 loss to the Alexander Spartans. Out in Waterford, the Wildcats play host to the Eastern Eagles. The Wildcats are coming off an 18-7 campaign last season and shared the league title with South Gallia, who is now in the SOC. Eastern is in a rebuilding year as they graduated their 3 leading scorers from last season. Coming into the matchup, the Eagles have dropped both of their opening matches to Meigs and Sims Valley.
Well, still ahead, you may experience disruptions to technology tomorrow. The reason why is out of this world. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Hi, this is Marion Ross. Please join me and Gavin MacLeod in A Classic Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Thursday at 9:30 on WOUB.
I'm Billie Jean King. Women's sports changed the whole world.
With your voice, you leading the way. The greatest mystery that Agatha Christie ever created was herself.
What do you suppose it's like falling down a rabbit hole?
We have much to be grateful for.
Hey, it's your old car here. Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. Vehicles like me can bring significant funds to public television. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy, the pickup is free, and your gift is tax-deductible.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Finally tonight, a beautiful and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is taking place tomorrow night. While it's one thing to travel to see the Northern Lights, it's another to have the opportunity to see them from your own home. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says a strong geomagnetic storm is heading towards Earth Friday. Forecasters say it increases the likelihood of being able to see the aurora borealis or the Northern Lights for places as far south as Pennsylvania, Iowa, and Oregon. With this event, people may experience radio frequency blackouts, GPS problems, or power irregularities.
And hopefully we will be able to see those Northern Lights due to this rain that's coming into our area tomorrow. But in Athens currently, we see a temperature at 49 degrees with clear skies. And then moving in to Athens tonight, we see an overnight low of 35 with a 40% chance of showers. Moving into Athens tomorrow, we see an 80% chance of showers with a temperature high of 49 and a temperature low of 43. And that's a final look at weather.
Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Mia Sammons and Dylan Westmeyer, I'm Silver Barker. Have a great night.